Contrary to popular belief, you do not need a large list. You don't need a huge following. Okay. You do not need a fancy funnel to make 5 figures fast. And so in today's video, I want to share with you exactly what I would do if I were to make 10K in the next 7 days, even if I had to start over from zero today. Okay, now, whether you're new to me or true to me, welcome or welcome back. My name is Katrina Marie, also known as the Boss Chick Biz Coach and your fearless leader. And I am a holistic business coach and an RN health and wellness educator. And I also deem myself as a freedom strategist. And that is because I left corporate America at the height of my career when I was making an excellent salary, well over 6 figures, well, a high 6 figure salary. And I was really and truly at the height of my career to the point that most people would have been happy being there, but I was not. I was very unfulfilled no matter how high up the corporate ladder I climbed. And so one day I decided, you know what? I am going to, for a multitude of reasons, I'm not happy and I'm going to build my own business in exchange for my freedom. And during this journey, by the way, I have had to start over a time or two and rebuild my business, my brand, my life. Okay. And so now I teach women how to do the same. I teach, successful corporate career women and high achieving women entrepreneurs how to build aligned and profitable online brands and businesses in exchange for their freedom, right? Without sacrificing their soul insanity or compromising their health, their healing, and or their happiness. And so I want you to know a little bit about my background so that you know who you're listening to and why it's important and that I know what I'm talking about, okay? Because I'm not speaking from secondhand information. I didn't read a book necessarily on this stuff, right? I didn't like just hear this story from somebody else. I have lived experience. And so one of the first things that I would do if I were you is, and this is exactly what I would do myself, what I have done, and what I actually teach my clients currently. So I always say, start with what's already in your hand, meaning the lowest hanging fruit, right? So my saying in particularly is to start where you are, work with what you have, and do or sell, in this case, what you know. Again, low hanging fruit. Okay, let me break down exactly what I mean by that and what that could look like for you. That could look like a cash injection. Okay, it could look like, or cash, some sort of intensive, right? It could look like a VIP day. You might only need 1, 2, or 3 of those, depending on how you price it. It might look like a 5-day challenge or a 7-day boot camp. It can look like a number of things. Okay, there are lots of ways to make money, and all the ways work if you work it. But I believe in, after having done this a time or two and having done it the hard way and the easier way, having done low ticket, high ticket, and everything else in between, I know a thing or two about the differences of all of those. Now, when we're talking about having a big list or a large following and that sort of thing, you do need volume when you are trying to build a business or a brand in this online space with low ticket offers. Okay. And that actually is a quick burnout. It actually requires less energy, believe it or not, when you are selling high ticket. And so that's really the model that I teach, because you can work from that high ticket model and break things down and, build a product suite going to a lower ticket offer, a mid-tiered offer, and have a variety of offers in your arsenal. But I always like to teach people to have a signature core offer that's a premium price that you are positioning yourself for with your level of expertise, your educational background, your knowledge, what your zone of genius is, and then position yourself in a way that you can sell it to the people, your ideal client avatar, who actually needs the solution to the problem you have to solve. Okay. So these are just some of the types of offers you can create, but there are so many out there, okay, that I can talk to you about and teach you. And I have a lot of different videos on the variety of ways, but we're going to just stick to exactly, really in the order that I would have any of my clients that I would be working with, and what I'm teaching you today for free. Okay. No charge, no cost to you, by listening to the sound of my voice and following these steps. This is the guideline for you to follow in order for you to do the same as what I teach and I literally charge for. Okay. So an example would be like I had a client who actually was really burnt out from doing the very thing that I alluded to just a minute ago, and that is she was selling a bunch of low ticket offers. Because that's what you hear a lot of out here in these internet streets, right? People are always teaching about digital assets, and that's not a problem. But see, here is what the problem is and where the problem lies, okay? And that is you only see what's on the surface, right? You don't see what's beneath the surface. And so people are not necessarily pulling back the black curtains and telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help them, okay? They're not telling you everything you really need to know and what's behind the black curtain and what's really going down in the background. So people who are selling low ticket offers, ebooks and templates and all these kinds of things you hear about usually have a large following. Okay, they're already credible, and or they are pulling people into their funnel, building their list. Okay, and they are also upselling people to a higher premium price or high ticket offer, a high end offer, all used interchangeably. Okay, they all mean the same thing. I am here to tell you that if you are a successful corporate career woman and you are wanting to replace your income, your high paying salary, right? If you're making anywhere near or over six figures, right? If you are a doctor, a nurse, a therapist, a PhD level expert, a MD, or you are some service provider of other sorts, or if you're a coach, a consultant, or whatever you are in your current, if you're a leader of some sort, doesn't matter if you're a frontline worker, right, and you're still making a high figure, or if you are a independent contributor, whatever it might be, okay, you will not ever replace your income by selling a bunch of ebooks. Okay, that is a myth, I promise you. So what you want to do instead is price premium offers and have a signature core offer that you are able to offer to the very people you are called to serve. So one of my clients, I taught her how to go from burnout to selling a business breakthrough call. And so what she would do is she would get on YouTube like I'm doing here today, offer real value, okay, not just a bunch of just random kind of information that people can Google and piece together themselves. I'm talking real value that only comes from her because of what she knew, what her knowledge was, and what her level of expertise was. She sold that 90-minute, it was a 90-minute call, okay, and she called it a business breakthrough, which is what I used to call one of my offers as well. She sold that for $750. And when people learned in the call what she was able to do for them and how she offered so much value in that call alone, naturally people want to take the next step with you. Okay, so that's exactly what happened to her, for her, and she was able to then upsell those same clients that now were warm leads, had worked with her, had gotten a quick win, gotten a lot of value out of that call, and she was able to sell those a few individuals to and it's called an upsell, right, into her higher ticket offer, which was 2K or $2,000. So it started off as a 750 call. They saw the value that she was able to offer, and then she was able to sell them into her next, to have, it's a journey you're taking people through, right? So you want to make sure that, what is the next step that you have readily available and accessible to the individual you'll be working with on that initial call, right? And then upsell them into the next logical step that they need to take with you to continue on the journey to get the transformation they're ultimately looking for. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So that's the first thing, okay? So when you do see people selling these low ticket offers, understand again that they either have a large following, okay? So volume, they're maybe running ads, okay? But if you're doing this the organic way, which a lot of people are, you may not be spending money on ads right now. You might not be able to, you might not have that in your budget right now. Perhaps you don't know what the strategy is behind that. So if you're doing this organically and you want to make money fast, this is the way to go. All right. The second thing is to pitch people who already know you. Pitch people who already know you. Okay. Send personal invite to the people that you've already worked with. Using this example that I just gave about a client that I work with doing that business breakthrough call, if she's already worked with someone, if you've already worked with people in the past who's bought your whatever they bought, be it a digital asset, or maybe they got on a call with you before, maybe they attended one of your webinars, or perhaps you've done some work with them and you've gotten them results and you didn't even charge them. Whatever the case might be, you can invite those individuals by sending out personal invitations, right? To those warm leads. Okay. They're considered warm leads because they already know you and they already perhaps had gotten a result from you as a result of working with you. What was the outcome or the transformation that you were able to get for them? Those are the people you want to reach out to first. That's not to say you can't reach out to cold leads, but it's a lot easier to sell to individuals who already know your work, okay, and already know the kind of results they'll get in working with you. Okay, so send out DMs. You can also send a broadcast out to your email list. Okay, so hopefully you have an email list to send out a broadcast to your subscribers. These are individuals that you've already nurtured the relationship with. Hopefully you've been sending out emails on a regular and routine frequent basis, right? So those are the individuals who's going to raise their hand and say yes first. You feel what I'm saying? So just any client, past clients, again, those case studies you may have done, anybody, family, friends, colleagues, whomever you work with and got results for, and maybe they didn't pay you, but they still understand that you are somebody who can get them the result they're looking for. Those are the individuals you want to work out or reach out to first. A really good example that I have for you is when I made 3K in 48 hours. How did I do that? Simply by reaching out to 10 people. Did all 10 people buy from me? No, because not everybody needs what you have in the moment that you're selling it or offering it, right? But there's going to be at least one person out of 10 people who will, because that's the typical conversion rate, right? About 10% or so, maybe a little bit higher even for a warm lead, right? So if it's an individual that you reach out to, you've already worked with and got results for, they're more than likely going to be at least one person who wants to work with you, going to raise their hand and say yes, right? So make sure you have an offer that's at least worth $1,000 or $1,500 that you are, selling to these people that you've worked with before. And so I had 3 individuals work with me, and that's how I made 3K on a 1K offer. Okay, so I reached out to 10 people, warm leads. 3 of those 10 people said yes. I was charging 1K for I think it was an intensive I was doing for like, I want to say 7 days or so. And those individuals bought into what I was selling, and I made 3K in 48 hours. You can do something similar, or some of the, examples I gave earlier. You can try one of those things too. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to offer a time limited transformation. Okay. Something that is urgent. What is it that somebody needs right now in this moment? And that's where it comes into place, that you need to really understand what your target audience needs. What does your ideal client avatar or your ICA, your dream client, what is it that they need? What do they have? What is their pain point? What problem do they have? What pain or problem or urgent need do they have in this moment that will make them say, yes, right now, I need exactly what you're offering, because you're going to present it in such a way that they can't say no. That's what we consider an irresistible offer. What is that thing, right? So again, you have to know who your ideal client is, what their pain point is, their urgent need, their desire, and what is it, where are they now and where are they trying to get to, that you can help them get from here to here, right? And then offer that to them so that they can say yes. And that could be a former client. That could be, look, it could look like a 7-day brand revamp. It could be a 1-week signature offer that you're helping them build. Maybe you're not doing it for them. Maybe you are. Okay. You can do it for them. You could do it with them. You could teach them how to do it, right? Whatever it might be. Okay. Depending on what your offer is, present it in a way that would be helpful and valuable for them. Okay. And then charge accordingly. So a lot of the women who follow me is obviously, more times than not, are the women that I serve. Okay. So I serve women over 40, women of color, LGBTQ plus women. Okay, a lot of nurses follow me. Of course, corporate professionals and leadership roles and such follow me because of the type of work that I do, right? And so I had a former nurse reach out to me, actually was a colleague of mine, but she really was transitioning from the bedside to, she was burned out at the bedside, much like I was years ago. And she wanted to transition into business ownership. And she didn't know how to really balance the two, right? So she wanted to know, how did I what would I teach her to do in order to leave the bedside and build her brand and business in the online space? So I, worked with her to make a signature core offer based on her knowledge, her expertise, and, her level of, everything that she learned with regard to what she wanted to do. And she wanted to be a coach slash consultant. And she was able to then launch that offer literally with a minimum value um, product or service, right? Like we just did the bare essentials, okay, to get her off the ground. And oftentimes a lot of you might be someone who overthinks, like a lot of women do that I work with. They're overthinking and overcomplicating very simple, super simple strategies that they can use, and they are trying to know it all first and build out the whole entire funnel first, not realizing how simple it can really be. And so this former nurse launched her first signature offer. She closed like 2 clients, I want to say, in 3 days, and she charged a premium rate for it. And no, she was not immediately able to leave the bedside, but she was able to, it gave her so much confidence that she knew she can do this. And that was validation, right? Because sales really is the thing that validates what it is you're selling. And once or the offer that you're selling, and once she saw that people genuinely wanted to buy from her and that this was like a real thing, she was able to decrease her hours, go down from full-time to part-time, and work less hours. So that was less burnout, less stress for her, still making some good money, working as a bedside nurse as she weaned her way or transitioned her way out seamlessly out the corporate door, right? Until she got to a place where she replaced her income. So that's another example that I can think of to share with you. It is very real. It is very feasible. These are very practical solutions and tips that I'm giving you to strategize and just kind of get your wheels turning and thinking about what it is that you have in place right now that you can do. Again, the lowest hanging fruit, okay? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what your level of expertise is. You have everything that it takes right now. You are equipped with everything you need right now in this moment, as you are hearing the sound of my voice, to be able to sell whatever your zone of genius and level of expertise is too, because all you are doing is adding value to people. And the things that come easily and naturally for you does not come easily and naturally for others. Okay. So if you have, even if you don't have everything figured out yet as far as your niche, right, and your business model exactly, and who you're selling to and what it is you're selling, well, that's first of all where you would need to get in touch with somebody who actually does and who can help you, right, to build this out. But I'm based on just what I'm sharing with you today, you can literally take exactly what I'm telling you and do this and make money. 10K in 7 days. I promise you, it can be done. It has been done. So all you got to do is get into radical action to make it happen. Now, before we go on, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now in the comments below. Let me know what it is that you are feeling and taking away from my message today. Let's go ahead and get this discussion popping, okay? I want to know what's resonating with you, if this is making sense to you, if this is something that you've thought of before and never have. What are you going to do as you are learning, the information that I'm providing today? Something that's clicking with you, like a kind of aha moment. What is that for you? So we can go ahead and continue the dialogue below. Okay. And if you are enjoying my content here, do make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live. Okay. Now, next thing I want you to do is eliminate everything that has nothing at all to do with sales and services. That means, hear me clear, okay? Stop the distractions, Stop the multitasking. No Canva, no overdoing it on the content, no making up more freebies, none of that stuff, okay? Sell, sell, sell. If right now, and depending on when you are watching this, okay, this recording is coming out, in a couple of days, but you might be watching this in the near or far future. You might be at a point in business where you are burning out really badly. Maybe you have not hit your revenue goals yet, right? In the current quarter that you might be in. Maybe you need extra, some cash cushion. Maybe you're looking for other ways to supplement your income, right? While you're making the transition perhaps from corporate to business ownership, whatever the case might be. Even if you're a seasoned entrepreneur, but you're not generating your income in a predictable way, maybe you're not doing it an easier way, you're doing it very hard way, and as a result you are feeling stressed and very burnt out, right? We need to definitely make sure that you are, like going through this process that I'm breaking down for you right now, so that you can move away from working in that way, okay? Because it doesn't have to be that difficult. All right. Seriously, it does not. I kind of lost my train of thought of what I wanted to say and kind of where I was going with that. So hopefully if I remember, I'll circle back. Eliminate distractions is what I was saying. If you are hungry, if you are in a position right now where your business is not cash flowing, okay, if the business ain't businessing, okay, and the cash ain't flowing, then you definitely need to follow this process so that you can make the amount of money that you need. And this is something that you can actually put on rinse and repeat every single time, anytime you need to make money, okay, within a short period of time. And I actually have a workshop that I did. It was a virtual workshop I did live a few years back. It was a very, very good workshop. It's about 3 hours long. That if you want to look in the description below, I might even have it in the pinned comment. You can check that out, okay? And it will go over how you can actually make a cash injection in your business. Now, that's not something I recommend for you to do on a consistent basis as a way to sustain your business, okay? Because that is not a sustainable business model. However, it goes deeper into helping you understand pretty much what I'm explaining now, but using content to, make cash. And so just check that out if you're interested. But kind of getting back to what I'm just saying here is I don't want you to have any distractions, okay? I want you to really focus on sales, because if your business is hurting right now, like if you don't have clients, you don't have cash flowing. If you don't have cash flowing and you continue on the route and the pace that you're on right now, going this route, what I can tell you for sure is that your business is going to end up failing, right? Fast and hard. And so I've learned the hard way. I don't want that for you. So listen to me when I tell you there are easier ways, more strategic ways, more streamlined ways for you to get to that bag, okay? Secure the bag for real, okay? And build a sustainable business, because it's not just about securing the bag real quick. It's like once you do secure the bag, what are you doing with that money? How are you reinvesting it into your business and all of that, okay? All of that matters. Now, when I find myself in a position, and I have many a times where business is slower, right? We have our slower seasons, we have our dry seasons in business, whatever's going on in life, right? That might have interrupted some of your business operations. In my case, it's been when I've had personal issues, or when I didn't have a full team, or when I had some staffing changes like I did last year. I had to realize, okay, now that I'm working with the skeletal crew, right, and I have me and maybe an assistant or one or two other people, I have to find ways to outsource some of the work. I need to cut back on my admin's tasks, right? Like I don't need to be checking emails all day and responding to people. I don't need to, I can skim through, glance through my emails, see what's important, and have maybe a 30-day slot in the morning, 30-day slot in the evening where I check the most important emails and respond, okay? But throughout the day from say 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or, like a 4 to 6 hour block, I am focused. Okay. I have my blinders on. I'm not looking out this way. I'm not looking over here and here and here and seeing what anybody and everybody else is doing. I don't care about any of that. I am focused on what I need to be doing to generate revenue, right? What are the things that I can do? How can I help move the needle? What is my best use of my time, right? What are the things that I do best? How can I operate in my zone of genius and do the things that's going to be income producing from that block of time every single day without fail? So, if nothing else, if you don't hear anything else I've said in this video, you need to block out the distractions and focus on sales. Okay. Sales is where you are starved for right now. So if you're not making enough sales and hitting your revenue goals consistently, then you need to, block out all the extra stuff that you're doing that are distracting you and focus on the sale. Okay. And when I've done that, like literally, I have just sold clarity calls. That's all I've been focused on after I've done, like some speaking engagements that I've recently been a part of. I'm getting back to, like clarity calls and VIP days and, my group coaching calls and that sort of thing. And I have made 5K from just a couple of clarity calls. Now, my clarity calls don't cost that. But again, giving like the example I gave earlier, you can do a clarity call or whatever you want to call your kind of, call, getting somebody on a video conference call with you. And, and then you're going to be able to give them whatever value that you offer. And on that call, they're going to see how much they've gained from that 1 hour or 2 hour intensive or 90-minute intensive, whatever you're going to call it. And from that, you're going to be able to upsell them into the next best thing, the next logical step, right? So again, make sure you have the journey in mind, because it's not just about one-off support. It's about people want to work with you longer for additional support when they see that you can get them the result or the transformation or the outcome that they desire, okay? Then finally, I want you to double down on your confidence, clarity, and consistency. Confidence, clarity, and consistency. That means no waffling on your prices, no chasing after clients, no discounting your prices. Listen, sis, the price is the price is the price, period, point blank. Okay? The price is the price is the price. You don't need to act like you are a bargain bin or a Walmart. You are a high-end store, so to speak, right? You are only trying to attract, making your best effort to attract premium clients, quality leads, people who really want a transformation, the full shebang, not just half step in it, right? Not just a part of the solution, like the whole thing, okay? Your energy is either magnetizing your clients or that's pushing them away. So, based on the messaging that you are giving, that you are putting out there, okay, on social media, on your post, on YouTube, or however it is you are exuding that energy, you want to make sure that you're doing two things at the same time, that your messaging is very clear. Again, that means you need to know, for the most part, who it is you're selling to, what their problems are, what desires they have, and what it is you need to say to them right now, that to make them realize how urgent this is. And because they know how urgent their situation is, they're willing to invest in whatever solution it is you have to offer them. Okay. And from that, you either need to be magnetizing those individuals, meaning you're attracting them to you, or you're repelling the wrong people away from you. And that's a good thing. Repel those that will not serve you and that you cannot serve, and attract those who need your services and that you can serve very well. You can get the best results for, and you can do your best work with. Those are your ideal peeps. Okay. Now, if you want a 7-day plan to hit the ground running, to create, predictable and consistent income, whatever your next goal might be, if you're looking for like a blueprint or a roadmap, or, just your way to your whatever your freedom path is, right? How can we get you from where you are in the journey right now to where it is you ultimately want to be, right? Or even if it's just the next step or few steps that you want to take, whatever that is and whatever you envision it to be, you define what success looks like for you. What I want you to know is that I'm here for you, and I want you to book a focus and freedom clarity call, or freedom and focus clarity call with me. All right, to get on a call to see all the ways in which I can support you. I'm offering you the clarity you need, the insights, a roadmap, blueprint, whatever you want to call it, and putting you on the path to freedom. And we can talk about other ways in which methods that I have to support you. But do know that I do teach from a holistic standpoint, because I believe in prioritizing your health, your healing, and happiness first and foremost, because in order to expedite your external success, you have to do the internal work. That's mindset work, that's healing work, right? And also the structure, the systems, and the strategies as well. That's all combined, okay? So I can talk to you more about that if you go ahead and book a call with me today. I'll make sure I leave the link in the pinned comments below. Okay, so that is my time. I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.